happening, gang? It's your boy Retro back again with another reaction video. Yeah. Today we got another huge update. Now, you guys can probably already tell that it is going down. Just by that title alone, you guys are definitely gonna want to check this one out. So we got that head of the Fed, Jerome Powell, find himself in hot water at risk of removal from his position after Trump just uncovered a massive scandal of him operating based on his political biases, guys. I'm excited to get into this one, so we're not straight into it. All I ask that you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. And without further ado, let's hop straight into it, folks. Check this one out.
My colleagues and I remain squarely focused on achieving our dual mandate goals of maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. Despite heightened uncertainty, the economy is still in a solid position. The unemployment rate remains low, and the labor market is at or near maximum employment. Inflation has come down a great deal, but has been running somewhat above our 2% longer run objective. In support of our goals, today the Federal Open Market Committee decided to leave our policy interest rate unchanged. The risks of higher unemployment and higher inflation appear to have risen, and we believe that the current stance of monetary policy leaves us well positioned to respond in a timely way to potential economic developments.
So the tariffs, Grant, are not causing inflation, as the angle predicted. There wouldn't be inflation.
That's
Money
right.
is pouring into the country. So what is Powell doing here exactly?
Well, he's either stupid, which I don't think is the case, or he's just unpatriotic and he's actually wanting to damage, as he promised a year ago, Laura. He was willing to even damage the middle class if it controlled inflation. But in truth, the American people need to know that Jerome Powell nor any Fed has ever controlled inflation. And in fact, President Trump has had more to do with bringing inflation down in this country. Everywhere Jerome Powell is involved, prices are still up. Mortgages are too expensive, and everywhere President Trump has had full and total control. The tariffs, taxes, regulations, inflation has come down, including oil production. We have the lowest gas prices in the country. How can the Treasury Secretary, the Commerce Secretary, President Trump, and the chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac be wrong, with one guy being right, and the only part of our economy that is frozen is housing? That's on Jerome Powell. He has literally set the middle class back a decade.
All right, you guys, so you're hearing that right. Definitely a major setback of decades to not only the middle class, but the lower class. I mean, these high interest rates are not allowing folks, it's freezing our housing market. It's not allowing folks to be able to buy in, afford these home loans. We're seeing Donald Trump has got it down historical low inflation rates, but yet the interest rates still stay the same. We got a clip right here. This is Treasury Secretary right now, Scott Bessent. He is said to be the replacement for Jerome Powell if he actually gets pushed out of that position. Let's check out what he has to say.
While we're talking about interest rates and the Federal Reserve, it has been recently reported that you might be in consideration for the job as the next Fed chair. When you've been asked about the likelihood recently, you said that it's up to the president. Is it a job that you would want?
I will do what the president wants, but I think I have the best job in D.C. We're making a lot of progress with the president's leadership. Think about it. We are going to have the tax bill on his desk by July 4th. We're going to be wrapping up the trade talks. So I think we've had great momentum, and we will be working on Chair Powell's successor over the coming weeks and months.
You had mentioned that an announcement could be as early as October or November, and Powell's term ends in May of 2026. How is the street supposed to navigate between that announcement time and the time between the term being over for Chair Powell? You were the one, I want to remind people, that had brought up the idea of a shadow Fed chair prior to the election. Is a new appointee supposed to be considered that shadow Fed chair?
Well, not necessarily. We'll see. There's a seat opening up, a 14-year seat opening up in January. So we've given thought to the idea that perhaps that person would go on to become the chair when Jay Powell leaves in May, or we could appoint the new chair in May. unfortunately, that's just a 2-year seat.
All right, so that was Scott Bessent hitting at possibly replacing Jerome Powell. And then according to this Politico piece that I found here, Jerome Powell could be gone long before May due to this scandal right here. We got Trump's top housing regulators calling on Congress to investigate Jerome Powell. The head of the Federal Housing Finance Agency, Bill Pulte, that's who we're seeing right here, claimed that the Fed chair lied in his characterization of upgrades at the central bank's headquarters. And this right here is the scandal. Let's dive a little deeper into it. It says Washington's top housing regulator is escalating his fights against the Federal Reserve Chair Jerome Powell, calling on Congress to investigate the central banking chief. Federal Housing Finance Agency Director Bill Pulte, who has increasingly complained that high borrowing costs are damaging the housing market, pressed lawmakers on Wednesday to probe Powell's alleged political bias, as well as his recent Senate testimony about the renovations of the Fed's headquarters. Pulte claimed in a statement that Powell lied to lawmakers last week in his characterization of the upgrades at the nearly century-old headquarters, which Powell said was in need of some quote-unquote serious renovation. Pulte then continued on another statement saying that this is nothing short of malfeasance and is worthy of 4 calls of removal. Chairman Powell needs to be investigated by Congress immediately. Pulte's attacks have echoed President Donald Trump's own criticism of the Fed chair, whom he has taken to calling too late in lowering interest rates. Earlier this week, the president sent a handwritten note to Powell saying, quote, "You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so." We're going to hop off into that. Actually, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt went in on this note as well. Also noting that interest rates within the United States remain higher than in many other major economies. The focus of the Fed building renovations is a new front in the administration's attack on Powell. The Fed leader was asked at the hearing by the Senate Banking Chair Tim Scott about the project after a New York Post article characterized it as akin to the Palace of Versailles. According to the plan submitted to the National Capital Planning Commission, the project is designed to upgrade the headquarters and a nearby building purchased by the Fed, as well as to consolidate workspace for central banking employees so the institution can get rid of some of the off-site leases. Powell then told senators that there's no VIP dining room, there is no new marble, there are no special elevators, there are no new water features, there's no beehives, and there's no roof terrace gardens. At least one of those statements is debatable. According to the documents submitted to the NCPS, as of 2021, the central bank planned to have 2 pairs of vegetated roof spaces for the finished headquarters, although only one of those 2 pairs were planned as an occupiable space for building users. The other pair will only be accessible for maintenance, according to the document. And then here is more on this coming from our friend Nick Sorter here on X. And his breaking news tweet saying that the U.S. Federal Housing Chair Bill Pulte is now calling for Congress to investigate Jerome Powell, as Powell has kept interest rates artificially high to spite President Donald Trump, causing millions of homeowners and buyers great harm. Do your job, Congress. Investigate Powell. And we can see that right here. And this right here is one of many calls to investigate that Fed chair, Jerome Powell. We got a memo coming from Washington, D.C. stating today the director of U.S. Federal Housing and chairman of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, William Pulte, issued the following statement saying that he is now asking Congress to investigate Chairman Jerome Powell based on his political bias and his deceptive Senate testimony, which is enough to be removed for cause. And then, as promised earlier, we've got that lovely White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt breaking it all down. That note coming from President Donald Trump on how Americans are forced to pay these high interest rates while the rest of the world, the rest of the developed world, does not. They've got lower rates than us.
The world. At the top is Switzerland. They're only paying a quarter for interest rates. Cambodia, Japan, Denmark, Thailand, Botswana, Barbados, Taiwan, Bulgaria, Cuba, Sweden, Morocco, Cabo Verde, South Korea, Algeria, Canada, Albania, Libya, Malaysia, China, New Zealand, Trinidad and Tobago, Czechia, Bolivia, Australia, Costa Rica, the Bahamas, Kuwait, Papua New Guinea, Bosnia, United Kingdom, and the UAE are all paying lower interest rates than the United States of America, which has one of the hottest and strongest economies in the world. The president sent this note to the Fed chair. It says, Jerome, you are as usual too late. You have cost the USA a fortune and continue to do so. You should lower the rate by a lot. Hundreds of billions of dollars are being lost and there is no inflation. And the president is right. There is historically low inflation thanks to his policies. and we will continue.
Then we got President Donald Trump following this up with a response of his own. We got a tweet coming from Dinesh D'Souza stating that Jerome Powell is a Democratic operative masquerading as a natural arbiter of monetary policy. He suggests that Trump should announce his replacement now so Powell becomes sort of a lame duck for the rest of his team. I mean, go ahead and do it. Announce his replacement so folks start wondering, okay, we don't have to listen to this guy anymore. He's not going to be in charge for much longer. Let's look at President Donald Trump's Truth Social post. I'm actually going to blow it up a little bigger so you guys can see it. Okay, let's check out what President Trump had to say. He says, quote, "Too late, Powell complains about costs, much of which were produced by the Biden fake government. But he could do the biggest and best job for our country by helping to lower interest rates. And if you reduce them to the number they should be at, 1% to 2%, that quote unquote numbskull would be saving the United States of America up to $1 trillion per year. I fully understand that my strong criticism of him makes it more difficult for him to do what he should be doing, lowering interest rates, but I've tried it all different ways. I've been nice, I've been neutral, and I've been nasty, and I've been nice and neutral. It didn't work. He's a dumb guy, and obviously a Trump hater who should have never been there. I listened to someone that I shouldn't have listened to, and Biden shouldn't have reappointed him. We have a virtually no inflation. Our economy is doing well, and we'll soon be doing with the tremendous tariff income coming in and factories being built all over the country, better than it has ever been before. If he was concerned about inflation or anything else, then all he has to do is bring the rate down so we can benefit on interest costs and raise it in the future when and if we have these quote unquote other elements happen, which I doubt they will, but don't say that you think that there will be inflation sometime in the future because there isn't now. But if there is, raise the rates. We should be at the top of the attached list, not the bottom. I don't know why the board doesn't override this total and complete moron. Maybe, just maybe, I'll have to change my mind about firing him, but regardless, his term ends shortly next year in May, but it just does not sound like, I mean, from the words of President Donald Trump, very heated coming from his desk, this Truth Social post, I'm not sure how much longer old Jerome Powell will be sitting in that seat. I mean, we've got historically low inflation rates. We're well overdue for an interest rate drop, but they continue to try to harm and hinder Americans because they hate the big bad evil orange guy. Guys, I'm excited to hear what you guys are thinking on this one, so definitely hop in that comment section. Comments are open. Drop in there, let me know what you guys' thoughts is on this whole situation. Also, make sure you guys please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. If y'all enjoy more content like this, catch you guys on the next one.